Hi everyone, it's Alox, and welcome to this new episode of Facts and Lore about Cyberpunk 2077. In this video, I'll show you some things you probably didn't notice, no matter how well you know Night City. CDPR didn't just make an open world, they created one of the most rich and complex worlds in gaming. So let's not waste any more time. In Cyberpunk 2077, you can choose from 3 different life paths, and some missions are exclusive to each one. Today, we're going to talk about a rather unique mission in the Nomad path for several reasons. The title of the quest, These Boots Are Made for Walking, is a reference to the 1965 hit by Nancy Sinatra.
You keep saying you got something for me.
A song about breaking free and moving on, which fits very well with what V's doing here. To trigger this quest, you first need to complete the main mission Ghost Town in Act 2, the one where Rogue tells you to help Panam to get more info on Anders Hellman. After that, you will receive a message from your old car you used during the prologue when arriving in Night City, the Thornton Galena, revealing its location in the Badlands. So there is no exact time for when the message arrives, or at least I haven't tested it enough. In my case, it came after I completed some side gigs, about 2 hours of in-game time later. You can either find the mission on the map, or just track it from your journal. But once you get there, you'll find your old car. The thing is, it's levitating. Yeah, some real wizardry going on. I have no idea what's causing this bug, and it seems to be a recent one. I don't remember seeing this in my first playthrough, and I tried restarting the game or doing another mission before starting this one, but it didn't change anything. And since the devs already released the final updates, it's probably here to stay for good. So, when you check the engine, you find that it's still warm, and someone clearly drove the vehicle recently. Then, you are approached by a woman named Lana Prince, who's both surprised and annoyed you are messing with her car. This character is modeled after and voiced by Alana Pierce. The Australian journalist worked for IGN from 2015 to 2018. She then worked as a video game writer at Sony's Santa Monica studio in 2021 before leaving in 2024. Pierce has also been running a YouTube channel called Charalanazor since 2012, where she shares game reviews, personal videos, and industry insights. So, going back to the mission, Lana reveals that she's desperate to leave and has enough of this city. She sees the car as her only hope to start a new life. And at this point, you can choose to either keep the car, give it to her, or buy it back. So in the first choice, you threaten her to get the car back.
Need me to pull heat on you? Really want that? Step away from the car. Do it now.
Fuck you! Fuck you sideways, asshole!
Thanks for the fixes. Clever girl.
And Johnny makes it clear that you've made a shitty decision.
Hate to sound like your conscience would never want that job, but dick move, V.
Not a nomad, no way you can understand. As if somebody clept your guitar.
Somebody for who was the last chance for a better life? Enjoy your fucking ride, V.
In the second ending, you just give her the car for free, and she's grateful for your action.
I mean to say you can't. Wouldn't have a use for her here anyway. Not your typical urban vehicle. Roads rise to meet you, clever girl.
Jeez. Thanks. Not sure what to say.
Well, this nomad planted roots. Could it be?
Dunno. Hard to ruminate on that when you got a fucking time bomb lodged in your head.
If it's any consolation, fucking time bomb feels shitty about it too.
I know, Johnny. Come on. Let's ghost. This place makes my skin crawl.
And the last, and for me the best choice, buy back the car. So you can buy the car at a price much higher than its value, and she's surprised by that. She thanks you, and then Johnny talks to you for a bit in the car.
Oh yeah. It's like clockwork.
Well, definitely no guy or girl magnet, but seems healthy under the hood.
Don't know the half of it. Wait till I open her up.
Not afraid you might. Nah, what can it hurt? I'm dead anyway. Floor it, V.
Yeah, I don't know why he's in hologram form in my gameplay. Jackie Wells might be gone early in the story, but V never really stops thinking about him. After the heist mission, the one where everything goes to hell, you can actually try to call Jackie. When you do, no one picks up, but V leaves a voicemail.
Rarely unavailable. Please leave a message.
Jack, I got no clue where you are. What happened to you? It all got so fucked up. If you're there somewhere. Oh, fuck. What am I doing?
You can really feel the emotion in this voice, and you can leave Jackie voicemails during a few key moments in the story. They are easy to miss, but they really add depth to this grief. So here's every phone call with Jackie.
I talked to Misty. We were at your place. That mandala you made? It was total shit. But, Misty appreciated it. Maybe me a little too. So, nice work. So, I went to your funeral. God, that sounds so weird to say, right? Mama Wells, well, her heart's broken, but she's hanging in. She's tough. A lot of people showed, actually. Campo Horta sent someone, too. The guy did read from a card, but, yeah, there was a lot of respect. Warmth. Wish you could have seen it, Jack. Sure you would have liked it. So you are never gonna guess what happened. Dex had a hit put on me. Took a bullet, I died, I came back. All good until I realized I had a time bomb wedged in my brain. Oh, it feels like a goddamn movie plot. I got no idea what happened to you, where you are, but hang tough, chica. All right, and I met Johnny Silverhand. Long story. Doubt you two get along. Always could smell bullshit a mile off. Jackie, afraid this is gonna be my last call. Don't have much time left. One way or the other, everything's coming to a head. No, I've been talking to myself this whole time, but I just wanted to say you're a good friend, even when you're not around. Over and out, Chuba.
It's small details like this that make Jackie feel like more than just a character. Okay, enough emotional damage, let's switch gears. Cyberpunk 2077 also pays tribute to classic games, and this one was introduced in the patch 2.1 with a new weapon inspired by the BFG 19000 in Doom's games. The big fucking gun first appeared in the original Doom, released in 1993, instantly becoming one of gaming's most iconic super weapons. And the developers have very well paid tribute to the famous weapon with this. Yeah, a big fucking dildo. The BFG 9000, I don't need to explain to you what the C means, is a clear reference to the name of the weapon, Big Fucking Gun. There is literally this quote in the description of the weapon. And it's not about a weapon, it has a 69% crit chance and attack speed. Yeah, 69. So it can do a lot of damage. As far as how to get your hands on it, you'll need to head over to Rancho Coronado near the dam viewpoint in this spot. Once you're there, look over the ledge and you'll spot a man named Hugo Selvig. If you can catch him, you'll be able to loot the weapon from his body and a chart explaining why he is stuck there. His AV crashed near the dam, destroying the shipment, and he survived, but is stranded, unarmed, and worried about people showing up. His supplier, Chiana Nasoko, sarcastically suggests using the supposedly indestructible toys from the AV to defend himself. And that's where we arrive to find the BFG 9000. If for some reasons you forget to loot his body or you just escape and don't kill him, you can still buy the BFG from Harold Lowe at the IBM Petrochem Stadium. We talked a lot about tributes in this series, and this one is actually a tribute to the developers themselves. So, for the first one, you need to go here at the Arasaka Memorial in Corpo Plaza. Walk all the way to the back of the hall, and you'll find the door blocked by a keypad. The code is 2023. To find this code, there is a lot of options. You can just listen to the audio speaker who mentions this.
In this spot in 2023, an explosion from a terrorist attack on the first Arasaka Tower claimed the lives of more than 12,000 victims.
Another option is if you stand in front of the door and look to the right, you will spot 2023 in big neon numbers, reversed from the inside, facing the street. Once you unlock the door, you enter a room with a lot of names on the walls. They are the names of developers from CDPR that worked on Cyberpunk 2077. I did some digging on the 79 names listed here and found that 74 of them are visual effects artists, 3 are producers, and 2 are from the additional crew. This wall seems to feature every visual artist at the studio, environment artists, concept artists, and even art QA analysts. But what caught my attention is the presence of the 3 producers and 2 additional crew members. My theory, they probably played a more hands-on role in the visual side of development, enough to earn a spot among the artists. So let me know in the comments if you agree with me or if you have your own theory. So the second room like this contains a lot more. First, you need to go in the circular mall you visit during one of the first missions with the Netrunner vendor. And when you go here near the lower stairs, you can find a door with a keypad. Johnny shows up and tells you to crack it.
V, try to get inside.
The code is 605185. This one is a bit trickier to find, and I'm pretty sure you can get it without googling. The code was found on the game manual for the physical editions of the game. Yeah, that's really cool. When you go inside, you'll find a tech room, and when you sit on the couch, Johnny starts playing a song on his guitar. But the most important thing is when you turn on the TV, you'll get a slideshow of every members of CDPR that worked on the base game. Producers, sound designers, visual effects, there is everyone involved from the studio. There are 582 photos and it goes for 14 minutes and 26 seconds. Yeah, I recorded the whole thing. If you stay there until the end, the slideshow starts over from the beginning. And I tested coming even before getting the relic, and yes, you can still access it without Johnny of course. But that's not all. There is one more Easter egg you can find. So if you go on the roof of Tom's Dinner in Watson, located here on the map, you will find binoculars, and when you use them and look at a red bird on the wall for a few seconds, a Dave team photo will pop up on your screen. I haven't been able to track down where or when this photo was taken, and it doesn't seem to appear anywhere outside the game. But based on a few clues, I've got a theory. The binoculars were added in the update 2.1 on December 2023. And if you look closely at the reveal effect, it strongly echoes the Phantom Liberty color palettes. Before that, we saw 2 rooms paying tributes to the developers of the base game, so I believe this one honors the people who worked on the expansion. It will make sense considering the expansion has its own dedicated team and artistic direction. So yeah, all these things are a really cool nod to the developers that worked on this incredible game. I didn't mention it earlier, but this little bird is a clear nod to the CD Projekt Red logo, and it's not the only tribute to the studio hidden in the game. In Phantom Liberty, you can find 2 men selling a bunch of things. These 2 men are modeled after the CD Projekt founders Marcin Iwiński and Michał Kiszyński. Of course, they talk in Polish, but the most interesting thing is the breakdances they sell. Each BD includes subtle nods to CD Projekt's history, with each item's price referencing a major milestone. Let's start with the obvious ones. The Snitcher, which is obviously referencing The Witcher, who was released in 2007. Retro Trunk, which is obviously the launch of Cyberpunk 2077 in 2020. Rent is a reference to the Gwent, which has its first open beta in 2017. Bone Tweaker, which is the release of Thronebreaker in 2018. The Farmer's Mate, which references their 1999 Polish localization of Baldur's Gate, the first major success of CD Projekt. And lastly, the Dance of Brain of Lech Kilbashevich. I don't know if this is the right pronunciation, but yes. So this one is a bit more complex. This is a nod to Marcin pre-CD Projekt days. Back then, he was importing and selling Western video games in Poland, often copying them onto floppy disks and including translated manuals. And in a 2015 interview for GameSpot, he described this as a kind of semi-legal distribution, a creative workaround in a country where official games publishing barely existed. And from what I understand, the name of the BG sounds bizarre on purpose. Lech Kilbashevich is a stereotypically Polish name, probably invented as a tongue-in-cheek nod to Marcin roots in Poland's bootleg game scene back in the 80s. It's like the kind of name you'd see on a floppy disk label back in the day. So yeah, This is really cool to see this kind of homage to the studio that made this game possible. And that wraps up today's video. Cyberpunk 2077 is filled with hidden gems, and I guarantee you there are more videos planned to talk about this amazing world. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.